Yes. What's up, guys? It's Larry, the mortgage guy, your mortgage insider, and I want to welcome you to the first time home buyer deep dive weekly class. When I say deep dive, I do these first time home buyer classes, where I talk about the home buying process in general, and I list like qualifications, credit, down payment, work history, all that crap. I kind of gloss over the details, but I don't get too deep. The whole point of the deep dive class is to really pick at every single detail and go really deep about each particular topic. That way, if you go to my home buyer class and you're like, well, I need to know more about down payment assistance programs, which is what we're talking about today, then this is what this video is designed for. Okay, so that's what the deep dive is about. So it's like a layer, right? Yes, I want to make sure there's a replay. Hopefully you can hear me. I don't know. Let me make sure. Sound test. I need to do every single time. I forget to do it. I'm gonna do it right now. So forgive me for like 30 seconds as I try to make sure that this screen is actually making sound. Uh, like a layer. Okay, perfect. It is. Okay, no problem. Facebook user, I can't see your name, but you put a replay. You can't attempt it. Don't wait. There will be a replay in YouTube and LinkedIn and Facebook and whatnot. Right. So again, welcome to the first time homebuyer deep dive class. I'm going to share my screen real quick. I have Zoom people too. I want to make sure that they hear everything. So hopefully you guys can hear everything. Hopefully the sound is good. Cheryl, are you on YouTube? We can see your Canva page. Perfect. Scott says, sounds good. Thank you very much. I appreciate you guys. You guys are the best. I'm going to add my participants here to become panelists or be allowed to talk because I want them to be able to ask questions. I shared the sound on my system, which hopefully should share my Zoom audio. So if someone on Zoom asks a question, hopefully you can hear it. If you can't, sorry. When I upload the edited version, I'll make sure the sound is there. But that was the initial problem I had with StreamYard and Zoom at the same time, is when someone on Zoom asked a question, you couldn't hear it on StreamYard. So people on the stream was watching me sitting there like, uh-huh, and there was no sound. It's because the person was talking, right? So hopefully I fixed that problem. Okay, cool. Let's get going. We are already 10 minutes in. I'm gonna try and make this really fast. I have a dentist appointment at 12:30, so I gotta leave here at 12. That means it gives me 50 minutes to go over this, but it shouldn't be too long. Okay. So here we go. Actually, you Zoom people, I want you to actually see. I'm gonna stop share. I actually want you guys to see my StreamYard video, StreamYard screen, because I want you guys to be able to see the questions that people ask. Okay. So again, if you guys have any questions, just go ahead and unzoom. Not unzoom. What am I talking about? Reshare everything just to make sure everything's perfect here. Share screen. And I'm going to share my Canva, the system audio. That works. Perfect. All right, now I can go full screen on both sides. Presentation. Hopefully I'm presenting the right one. I don't know. And I'm going to go full screen on my StreamYard. Here we go. All right. If you have questions, go ahead and unmute yourself or put it in the chat and I'll read it. And I appreciate you guys being here. Quick introduction. My name is Larry Lee. I'm a certified veteran mortgage advisor, branch manager of the Larry Lee team at Van Dyke Mortgage. I'm licensed as a loan officer since 2016. I was making this joke. My wife and I were talking to someone, I think it was my cousin, and someone asked how long she's been in the business. I said a couple of years, and she was like, it's been like 5 years. I'm like, holy shit, that means I've been in the business for a lot longer than I thought it was, which is 6 years, right? Because I brought my wife into the business. Actually, I was a loan officer, wannabe, and I brought her as lead gen, which is kind of funny because we're kind of flipped around now because I'm more lead gen and she's more loan officer, right? Side hustle is a social media marketing coach and running my own ad agency, Robots LLC. The reason why I bring this up is because I want to marry the two passions, right? I want to combine my passion for mortgages and the VA loan and such, and use my social media to sort of promote it and grow an audience and get the word out, right? That's kind of the whole idea of what I'm doing. Why are you a part of this call? That's me attempting to do that. You're a part of that effort right now, okay? I'm licensed in 11 states: Arizona, California, Florida, Illinois, Indiana, Louisiana, Michigan, New Hampshire, North Carolina, Tennessee, and Texas. Okay. My mission is that I love the mortgage business, but was fed up with the lack of education and information clients were provided during their application process. So I created a first-time homebuyer coaching class for mortgage clients that provides instant access to answers to questions and simple explanations to the mortgage process and how to qualify. What I mean by that is most people have to opt in or they have to reach out to a consultant to get information. I'm trying to make it so that you don't even have to do that. I'm trying to make it so that you can talk to the robot version of me, the video version of me. You're going to ask a question on social media or YouTube, whatever, and you'll have an actual, authentic, full-on, detailed answer, and you don't have to talk to me ever. Basically, you can ghost me and still get the information I would give to you if you were my own client that I'm talking to face to face. Okay, that's what I'm trying to provide. Okay, I also provide one-on-one coaching for those who want it, but of course, you can't ghost me on that. You can't hide from me. If you want one-on-one coaching, you and I are gonna have to engage with each other. Okay, otherwise, all the other content you can watch it and I don't even know about. I got views, I don't know who's watching. Okay, that's basically the point, right? Unlike other loan officers, I made it my passion to coach first-time homebuyers on the mortgage process, and that makes all the difference of how I have helped hundreds of people get on the right path to home ownership, with many of them becoming homeowners. You remind me of many of my smart, successful, and savvy clients who are now homeowners because you are taking the right step on the home purchasing process like they did. And what I mean by that is you're seeking education, you're on this call, you're trying to prepare yourself, right? The home buying process is very confusing to most people, but that is why I'm here to simplify the process and make sure you're 100% prepared in the home buying process and to become ahead of the competition. And when I say the competition, I'm talking about in this crazy market, making offers against 20 other people. That's what I'm talking about, right? My goal is to make it so that you are ahead of the competition. How can I do that? Real quickly, an example, just a little pitch or a little nod to myself, a shameless plug, that is. We can do TBD pre-approvals, fully underwritten. What I mean with that is we can fully underwrite you as a client, as a buyer, to the fullest extent until we need the property. Of course, there's no property because we're pre-underwriting you before that. But basically, half the work is already done. So when you make an offer, you can actually close faster because your part of the underwriting process is done, and you can actually give a loan commitment on day one. So a lot of contracts give you 14, 21 days to get a loan commitment. You can give that on day one, really day zero, when you make the offer. So it makes it look stronger. It looks like a cash buy, a cash purchase, and again, it saves time. Okay, so you can actually close faster. Okay, my why, of course, my wife and my children, namely Bruce and Hunter, the ones that are pictured below, because they're both on the spectrum for autism. They're both nonverbal autistic children, and I want to give them or get them into ABA therapy. I was highly recommended ABA therapy from parents I trust who also have children on the spectrum, and they said it was a game changer. So my goal is to generate enough resources to provide both of them that therapy this year. Okay. Also, my wife, of course, is mortgages and veterans. Okay, and the next slide will explain my wife for veterans. I'm not very professional and serious on social media, but this is one of my more serious posts, and it got like thousands of likes and comments. So here it is. My father was living in Da Nang, Vietnam during the fall of Saigon. My mother lived in Saigon. My father left by helicopter, my mother by boat. It was U.S. soldiers who helped them get in the helicopter and on that boat. They met in Hong Kong, China. If it wasn't for a U.S. soldier, my parents may not have survived, met, and had me, and I wouldn't have what I have today. I might not even exist. Those U.S. soldiers are more than likely veterans now. Thank you, vets. I owe you my life. And I really mean that. I really believe that I would not even be in existence if it wasn't for the U.S. military and the soldiers that helped my parents, who didn't know each other in Vietnam, help them survive the fall of Saigon and meet in Hong Kong, China, and falling in love and getting pregnant, and boom, here I am, right? So I owe them a life, really. So that's what my attempt is, to repay that debt of gratitude, okay? My first time homebuyer seminar, I actually go over 3 topics, the top 10 homebuyer questions, and answer honestly, meaning I tell you the truth of how I think. Questions that loan officers should ask before taking a 1003, meaning what should a loan officer ask you before actually making you apply? It should be common sense, but it isn't. And top 5 things not to do when buying a home. And when I say top 5 things, I'm not talking about like don't buy a car. I'm talking about real, like how I really think what you should not do. Okay, but that's for another class. And if you're watching this on YouTube, you can probably click a link somewhere on the left, and it'll actually lead you to that class. Okay, and if whoever wants this class, if you're not on YouTube but you want to see that class, let me know, and I'll actually send the replay to you. Okay. Disclaimer: I'm not trying to piss anyone off or make anyone feel stupid. I'm simply trying to provide transparency because most loan officers are doing a horrible job of telling you the truth. Also, information I share is general knowledge I acquired through training and experience. Every situation is subject to a case-by-case basis, and exceptions are always possible, especially with different lenders in financial institutions and states. And for sure, in this particular conversation about down payment assistance and grants and programs, that I'm going to talk about today is going to be different for every lender and for every state, even every county. Okay, so what I might be saying here might be totally different next door, just so you know. Okay. All right, real talk. Top 10 questions people ask me, blah, 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 all the way down to number 8. How do I get 0% down? Okay. Well, the most obvious or most well-known answers are going to be either you are purchasing USDA, meaning you're purchasing in a rural area, or you are a veteran. Okay. Let's talk about USDA first, since it's on the list first. USDA is designed, actually, you know what? I'm going to stop real quick. I can move really fast. I want to see if there's any questions. Does anybody have any questions or comments, or maybe you want me to focus on something? I don't mind doing that. These calls are for you guys. So my goal is to literally tailor the conversation to what you guys need. If there's no questions, if there's no comments, I'm going to move on. All right, USDA, rural development. So what does that mean? Literally in an area that doesn't have high density in terms of population, right? You know, the podunk areas, I guess, the farm areas, whatever you want to call it, right? Why? Because they want to encourage growth in those areas, growth as in population. They want to encourage people to move to these places because obviously there's a lack of population. Why? Because people don't want to live there for whatever reason, or they don't have a reason to live there. They would rather live in a more higher density population area, like urban areas or whatever, right? So the USDA wants to encourage, again, population growth. They want to encourage people, so they want to make it as easy as possible. How do they do that? By not requiring a down payment. Makes sense to me, right? So basically, they're saying, hey, we're going to bribe you to live and move into our jurisdiction, our area, you know, whatever it is that we want, and we're going to, you know, let's say bribe you by making it so you don't have to put anything down. However, there are there catches, right? There's things that you have to consider. Number one, income limits. You can't make too much money. Why would that be important? Well, the way I think they look at it, and this is me just using my common sense and just guessing. I mean, I'm pretty sure if I read it, wouldn't be guessing anymore, but I'm guessing that they want to help people that need help, right? If you make a shit ton of money, why do you need down payment assistance, right? You're just being cheap at that point, you know. So they want to help people who really do need help. Okay, so there's an income limit, you know, in terms of who they're willing to help with the USDA loan. There's also credit score limits, which of course makes sense, right? I mean, you're sort of taking away one factor that lowers risk, meaning down payment. So you must sort of offset that risk someplace else, you know. So people who have lower credit scores might need more down payment to sort of make the investor feel good about lending money to the risky borrower. But if you are not coming with anything on the table, you're not bringing any skin in the game, you're not putting any funds down, well, then the risk is higher because you can always walk away because you have nothing invested except for your credit score, right? Your credit report, whatever. So they actually want you to have higher credit score. They proof that you're not going to in a habitual way, you're not going to just walk away from your debts, right? So credit is a factor in the US. There's other things too. I don't want to get too deep into it because it's not a USDA class, but you know, how many people live in your house makes a difference. There's also nuances about the property. It's kind of cool to say the property actually over appraises. I'll give you a really quick example. Let's say you have a $100,000 house and it appraised for 110. Well, you have automatically $10,000 in equity that you can use towards closing costs and such, right? Which is kind of like, well, what? Yeah, if you have extra equity in a USD home, you actually use that to help with closing costs and such. Okay, I hate doing public math, and I hate citing guidelines that I'm not really sure about, but I'm pretty sure that's how it is. But you can look me up and put me to the test. But I think that's how it works. But those are a few things that are kind of cool about the USDA. Okay, moving on because I don't think many of you guys are going to be worried about the USDA loan, but it needs to be brought up. VA, this is a whole other conversation. I do entire classes every week about the VA loan, so there's no way I'm going to do the VA justice in terms of what it requires. But let's just put it this way: if you're a veteran, you serve the country, you do your duty or whatever it is, you graduate, you finish, you retire, whatever, is an honorable discharge, you qualify, right? There's exceptions, right? Meaning if you were to actually be deployed, you in like a wartime situation, then you might not have to. But anyways, there's rules behind it, so that's a whole nother class. But basically, if you're a veteran and you qualify as a veteran, you have eligibility, you have entitlement left, then you can qualify for 0% down. Okay. Again, technically, there's no credit score minimum set by the VA. Lenders like myself said it, right? 580 is usually where we're at. And I should talk about the USDA. USDA is probably more like 640. I've seen lower. I've heard lower, but 640-ish higher is going to be USDA. VA is going to be 580. But I've actually helped someone at a 500 credit score with the VA. Okay. But yeah, that's how you can get 0% down as a veteran, right? Also, this is something that a lot of people don't know. Widows of veterans can qualify. So someone who is married to, maybe not even a veteran, maybe just someone who's active duty and they died because of service related, then the widow would qualify. Now, there's rules where, like, if they remarry, then they can't qualify, but then if they turn like 52, they can. It's really weird. Anyways, just so you know, you don't have to be a veteran to qualify for the VA loan. You can be related. But when I say related, you can be married to a veteran and qualify for the VA loan, depending on the scenario. Okay, so let's move on, because I know those things you can look up. You can probably talk to any lender. They probably know, well, not every lender. No, that's up for debate. But anyways, you can probably find general information online about those loans. Now let's talk about the down payment assistance programs, etc., etc., etc. Okay, because I think that is not as widely known. Okay, so before I do that, any questions, any feedback, takeaway, anything you want me to repeat? Because I did go a little fast there. Take a quick coffee. Yeah, I got some sleep. I got 3 hours of sleep. I'm excited. 40 hours, I got 3 hours of sleep, and I got coffee, so I'm good. Okay, down payment assistance programs. I'm going to go over this list. I don't use all of them. I don't know anything about all of them, and there might be things that are missing, so please forgive me if you see something that's missing, because I don't know it all. I only know what my company knows and what I may have experienced, right? So there's grants or forgivable loans. A grant sounds exactly what it is, I believe, in that they will actually give you money to buy a house. And if you live in it for a certain amount of time, they just act like it never happened, right? They forgive the down payment that you're supposed to pay out, right? Soft second, again, I'm not an expert at a lot of these things. I may have done a soft second before in the past, but I don't remember. There's probably a definition for it, and maybe I can do a class about just soft seconds. But it's almost like when you buy a house, you have the first, which is the actual mortgage, and you have a second, which is a mortgage on top of that. It's like a second lien. So it's almost like, I don't even know how to describe this correctly. Borrowing 90%, but borrowing 90%, but 80% of that is going towards the actual home, and 10% is actually for the down payment, right? Or 80% of it being borrowed is for the mortgage, and 10% of it is from like another provider that would be applied towards your down payment. So it's like 80, 10, whatever. I think that's what it is, right? There's a thing called a silent second mortgage. At one point, those were associated with illegal loans, but you can do a silent second. And again, you would have to Google that, because I'm not an expert at it, but I do know it exists. Piggyback loans are kind of the same way, and there are all different kinds of what do you call it? There's all different ways of structuring it, right? And I'm kind of glossing over these because I'm not an expert at these. I don't use these things, but I just want to put it on there so that you can know that it exists and you can do some research on it. And probably should do a class on it later. I should probably do a class. Maybe I need to take a class first, and then I can do a class. The ones I know mostly about are going to be the local and national programs when it comes to down payment assistance. Okay, and if anyone on the call is are familiar with these, you can always weigh in, obviously. But I'm not going to waste your time by googling it in front of you. You can do that yourself. I'm going to talk about the ones I do know. Okay, you got income limits, credit score limits, and what requirements are needed to use a local program, which is a state or county-based down payment assistance program. And they have national programs, which from my perspective are the same as local programs in terms of what they're looking for, but it's managed on a national level, right? It's not county specific, right? So they don't care where you buy as long as they cover that state. Whereas county is like, okay, well, we're going to help you with this property, but you need to buy in this county. And I've actually had situations. I actually had a really bad deal that exploded in my face, and I got blasted by the client. It was really bad. They probably would have killed me if they could, right? I mean, I'm serious. They actually didn't want me to be a loan officer. That's how bad it got, right? So they're out to get me. But they bought in a county that was not a part of the, I forget what they call it. Not, it wasn't restricted. It was more like targeted. So there's a targeted county and there's an untargeted county. In the Dallas-Fort Worth area, every county is targeted except for three. And there's a bunch of counties, okay? So every county in the Dallas-Fort Worth area was targeted except for three of them. And if they were to buy in a targeted county, they would qualify based on the program I created for them. But they happened to choose a county that was not targeted, and I didn't think about it. I didn't realize it, right? Whenever I qualified them, because of course I didn't have a property when I qualified them, and when they gave me the contract, I'm like, yay, contract, let's go, right? Turns out the contract is for a house that's not in the target area, and therefore all my structuring and pre-qualification didn't work out. They made too much money. Let's just put it that way. Okay, they exceeded the income limit, and therefore they didn't qualify. Okay, so that's what I mean by local programs being specific to county. County makes a difference, right? So I'm going to kind of review the two programs I'm familiar with. Okay, this one is Texas specific. Don't worry, if you're not from Texas, I do have a program that's national. Okay, but this is for Texas specific. So let's go and go to the website, and I'm just going to show you. I'm going to show you what to look for, right? So if you go to dhca.state.texas.us, and I put the link in the slides, so you want to click it later, right? But you can see that they have a lot of resources. Actually, I prefer the resources. It's kind of cool. But they have a lot of resources here that you click, and they even have in Spanish. But I would actually start by looking at this list here, right? Home buyer assistance, and they actually list what program it is and what it means, right? Home buyer assistance with new construction or rehabilitation, Texas Bootstrap Loan Program, right? Development of single-family housing through sweat equity, in which owner builder provides at least 65% of the labor required to construct or rehabilitate the home. My First Texas Home. This is probably one of the ones that I use. My choice and My First Texas are the ones I use. These are like for first-time home buyer. Mortgage loans at fixed interest rates and down payment and closing costs. And to kind of go over the way this program works, they actually will provide you the amount that you need for down payment. So let's say you need 3.5%, they'll actually give you 3.5%. So all the other funds that you have will be used towards closing costs. In some cases, you actually qualify for 5% down payment assistance, but only put like 3% down because you're using a different loan program, and use the remainder of that towards your house or the closing costs and such. Now, another thing that's kind of interesting is that VA or veterans can also get down payment assistance programs for them. So they would be zero down on the VA loan, but then they would actually get down payment assistance, which is actually assistance for closing costs in addition to. So as a veteran, you can actually get both, okay, from my experience and knowledge, okay. But yeah, this is what I would do. I would actually go to the program and just kind of read the different options, right? And of course, you reach out to your local vendor. Me, I work with THCA. There's other ones. I'm not bringing them up because I don't use it, so I don't know anything about them, right? But if you're from Texas, you're a real estate agent, you probably know that there's other ones. Again, that I don't know about. I'm not familiar with. Okay, but we use THCA. My branch, I have a loan officer that closes a lot of loans using this program, and I've closed a couple. So I know it works, and I know it's not incredibly impossible to get done. In fact, we were sort of surprised how smooth it was, right? And it does use a fixed rate. The rate might be a little bit higher. It might be fair, but basically the rate is set by the people who actually provide the down payment assistance, because effectively they own the loan. What I mean by that is, instead of servicing it with someone else, maybe we give it to another bank like Chase or whatever, or being serviced by Van Dyke Mortgage, is being serviced by them, because they will make their money on the interest, right? So they are providing down payment, right? But they're the investors anyways, right? So they're providing you the down payment. They're the investors, so they're the ones who are actually not protecting their loan, and then they will make money on the back end on the services, which is the interest. So that's how I believe the THCA program works. Okay. Now, the other program I was talking about, which is a national program, is called Chenoa. Okay. Chenoa, I've actually closely linked with this as well. And this is a nationwide down payment assistance program. Okay. Now, I'm not familiar with this one because, again, I've used it, but I don't use it. This one I have to really use that little slider thing. I've used it, but I don't use it on a very high level. Okay. So I'm going to have to just click the link or find the link myself. Right. So let's go and do that. Sorry if I'm doing all that weird breathing, creepy sound, but it's just my mic. Okay. And again, what I would do is I actually would just go to the home buyer side and just read the information about it. Right? When you get started, they actually will ask you for information. The person will reach out to you. But it says we help home buyers. They provide 3.5% or 5% down payment assistance programs, post closing for home buyer assistance, fast approval process without review delays. Well, they're just kind of like the some of the features or whatever. But you actually see the different programs. If you go to the first page, actually, yeah. So these are the types of programs they have. They have a DPA soft second. So I think that's kind of like what I was talking about before with the silent second or soft second. I don't know, silent second, it's the same thing. I talked about it a little bit here, the soft second mortgage, right? So that's what they're talking about. And, you can get 3.5% or 5% and 600 credit scores. So that's not too hard, right? I mean, a lot of my clients who are buying FHA, they're around that number anyways. They're 580, 600, 620, whatever. And you can click here and learn more. They actually give you a little bit more details about it, right? With this program, the borrower receives 30-year term, 0% interest rate. That's kind of cool. No monthly payment for second mortgage. The borrower needs more when you have minimum credit score. And I think in this case, they're actually paying it back, right? They're paying it. Actually, it says forgive up to 36 consecutive on-time payments on the FHA first mortgage, right? That's kind of cool. On the 5%, it's initial 120 consecutive on-time payment on the FHA first mortgage. Then it's forgivable, right? So that's a forgivable soft second, right? Then you have the rate advantage, which is probably maybe a better rate, higher score, better rate. Again, I don't know every single detail of these different programs, but you can click here and look at it. The repayable, which to me doesn't sound like it's for you, you're actually paying it back. Maybe it's a more favorable situation. Maybe there's an interest rate, but maybe qualifying for it is easier, right? Who knows? I don't know the exact details behind these, but these are offered nationally. Okay, 3% and 5% down payment assistance. Okay, now I do have more information I want to provide on this call. I have about 20 minutes, but before I do that, does anyone have questions? Okay, so the other thing that I want to talk about, and this is something that I wouldn't say that this is like the best way or the rule of thumb of how to figure out if you might qualify for anything, right? Obviously, for the VA loan, you got to be a veteran or you got to serve the military. So don't even bother. Or if you will marry a veteran, it's different. But don't even bother looking at information up on that if you're not associated with that community at all. Okay, it doesn't make sense unless you just want to educate yourself. Okay, but let's just say you want to look at the worst case scenario. You do end up moving in a rural area. Depending on where you live, I almost live in a rural area, right? I mean, not anymore, but like about 3 miles to the east, it is considered a rural area. It's a different town. Right? It's Prosper. I'm in Little Elm, which is really close to Frisco. Frisco is definitely not considered USDA, but then Prosper is like 3 miles on the same highway, and it's just north. And I know a lot of people moving there. It's like a really hot market. Okay, so I'm predicting in like 5 years or less, it's no longer going to be USDA approved, right? But right now it is. Okay, actually, it might have already changed that. I don't know. Okay, but I would actually want to see if I can qualify for USDA, and this will help you not just on USDA, but just loans in general, right? Let's see if I can find on the top. If they want to. So what you can do is you go to RD. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna show you something. I actually made a YouTube video about it, right? That way, later on after this call, you can actually go look for yourself, okay?
Why aren't you the landlord? Yes, you. Why aren't you the landlord? Every day you go to and from work and you look up and you see apartment buildings, self-storage facilities,
Yeah, right here.
office
So how to buy
buildings,
home with 0%
shopping
down,
centers,
right?
and I bet
I
at
actually go
times what's going
over
through your mind.
how to go to the RD
Hey, what's
page
up, guys?
of
It's
the
Larry, the
USDA
mortgage
page
guy,
to find
your
out. It's
mortgage
muted right now
insider.
because you
And the
won't hear
purpose
it,
of
but I
this
just want to
video
show
is to
you
explain to you
the
how to
actual
buy a
video
home with 0% down.
and actually
Pretend
tell you. See, go
between my
to
wife and I, let's say my wife doesn't work, I only make $5,000.
yeah,
No
right here.
childcare
So
expenses.
this is the link. So I
Next.
even put the link here on how to get.
So that's
okay?
about $60,000 a year. Okay. Let's pretend all I have
no,
is
that's
a
not what I
car
want to show
note
you. I want to show you. I want to show
of
you
$500.
the other link. Here it is. So this is
I
the
click
website I'm trying to
next.
get you to go to. Okay.
It's
So I'm
going
going
to
to
ask me
demonstrate you real
questions
quick.
like, do you have any federal
Wait,
debts?
let
Do
me
you have
work this
tax
cool.
liens?
Okay, cool.
Let's pretend it's all
So
no.
the video
No,
actually breaks down what I'm
no.
going to show you right now. Okay. So you go to income eligibility, right? Single family. So single family housing guaranteed. Actually, you want to go to single family housing direct. Guaranteed is when it involves a lender like myself. And there's a difference between guaranteed and direct. The difference is like debt to income ratio limits, the amount you can borrow. So they're different loans. They're USDA, but they're different. So direct is different from guaranteed. Just so you know, guaranteed is we, the lender, are guaranteeing the loan, or however they say it, but basically the lender's involved. And then there's direct, meaning you're going straight to the USDA. You don't even have a lender involved or a middleman, I guess, so to speak. You're going directly to the USDA, and they have different loan programs, right? But I'm asking you to use the direct version because actually there's almost like a qualifier on the website, which is why I'm presenting this, because this will help you figure out if you can qualify for any kind of down payment. And you can't really figure out down payment assistance. You can't really talk about other programs until you talk to the lender. But in this case, you can actually find out for yourself. Again, my goal is to provide you guys information that you don't need to involve a loan officer with. Okay, I'm trying to make it so that you can literally get information without having to talk to a salesperson. And this is one of your ways. Okay, so you go to single family housing direct, and you go to income limits. Actually, no. Okay, purchase a single family home. So yeah, you go to single family housing direct, self assessment. So you're like pre-qualify yourself in a way, right? I mean, obviously it doesn't mean anything, but you yourself have peace of mind as to where you might qualify. So you go to purchase a single family home, press accept. You pick your state. I'm going to pick Texas because that's where I'm at, obviously. I'm going to pick Prosper, which is the area I was talking about earlier. Prosper. Where is it? Uh-oh, is Prosper no longer considered USDA? That's bad news. Oh no, see, Collin County's in there. Maybe Prosper's part, yeah, Prosper County. Maybe it's I don't even know. I'm gonna find out what county Prosper. It might be in Collin County. Prosper, Texas, what county? I might be just. There's no such thing as Prosper County, right? Probably. Okay, good. Yes, Collin or Denton. Okay, that makes sense. And I probably knew that. That's why I'm trying to join the Collin County Real Estate Association or the Denton County Real Estate Association. I'm not trying to join a Prosper. So I probably knew that already. So I appreciate you chiming me in. So yes, I'm gonna go ahead and select. Oh, what the heck? It already selected something. Oh well, whatever. Doesn't matter. I just want you to look at this. See, these are the questions that the USDA is going to ask you. How many copies? Let's call it 2. My wife and I. I'm gonna pretend this is me. Okay. So I'm gonna go ahead. Can I? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm 1, and there's 1 copy. There's 3 minors, right? Full-time students, 18 years or older. No, I don't have any college-age students or anything like that. Number of adult household members. I think they're asking I think they're asking the additional. I think if I put 2 here, it actually would make some. Yeah. So that's not. That's like if you have like a living parent or something, right? So we have 5 people living here. See, they care about this stuff. Is a loan applicant or applicant at least 62, age of 62? No, none of us are over 62. Are there any disabled persons living in the household? No, not technically. My 2 children, I guess, they're not disabled. They're special needs, but that doesn't really count. Okay. But the reason why they're asking this question is they actually give you concessions. Like they'll be like, okay, well, you have special needs, you have childcare. We'll actually calculate your income in a way where you get more credit for it, right? Because if you are one person living by yourself, you're only get this much income limit. But if you're 5 people and you have 2 people who are disabled, you have childcare, then we'll actually take that into consideration in terms of the income, the way we look at income, right? This way, taxes, I don't know. I'm gonna put 6,000. I'm just guessing. Annual insurance, let's call it 1,200, right? A month. Association dues, let's call it I don't know, 500, right? Funding sources, do you plan to obtain an affordable housing loan from another funding source to fund part of this transaction? Grants, forgivable loans, deferred payment programs, yada, yada, yada. I'm putting no. Let me go next. Okay, so now they're asking about my income. Again, this is almost like an application, but it really is. They're not going to ask you for your name, number, or social security number. So I'm going to pretend this is my wife and I. I'd say I make, I don't know, maybe it's called 4,000 a month. And my wife, she probably makes about 5,000 a month. The reason I'm using 4,000 because I do make commissions with that, but sometimes I make 0, sometimes I make 10,000. So I'm for 4,000. I also have side hustle money, but I'm not even going to count that because I don't do my taxes correctly on those. You guys who are self-employed understand that. And I'm going to go ahead and click next. I don't want to put commission more than I'm going to make it simple, right? And then debts. I don't know, maybe I have a car payment of like $500 a month. She has a car payment that's about $500 a month. Do I have anything else? I don't have child support. I don't have student loans, credit card. I don't know. Maybe I pay $100 a month on credit cards. Complicate. Let's pretend my wife pays $200 on credit cards because she travels a lot and she buys a lot of crap on Amazon, right? So there you go. HOA dues. So this is what they think our debts are. See, that's kind of a cool little tool there, right? It kind of helps me like sort of on paper, so to speak, see what my debts are, right? So I know my income, which is 4,000 plus 5,000, so that's 9,000, and then my monthly debt, which is 1,341. Right? I'm going to click next. Oh crap! Oops. Credit card. Sorry. And she doesn't have student loans. I don't think. I think she paid them off. I don't know. She did have one at one point because we got denied before because of it. All right, so now they're asking these kind of questions. Are they federal debts? Nope, nope. No tax liens. Nope, no foreclosures, nothing like that. Any past due accounts? Nope. Any judgments? No. Collections? No. I don't know. I might owe some medical somewhere. I don't know. And there it goes. This program does not appear to be a good fit at this time. See, it told me that based on my situation, it's not a good fit, right? So let me show you why. They're telling me that I make too much income. Your household income is 108,000 with deductions, and adjusted income, which is like how the USDA looks at it, is 106,000, and the maximum adjusted income allowed for that county is 64. Right? I make too much income, right? Based on what they're saying. Okay, so let's say you're thinking about USDA, and you're like, well, do I make too much money? I don't know. Well, use this little calculator thing, right? Now I'm gonna mess around a little bit because I still have about 13 minutes before I have to, cut out of here for my teeth. Hopefully they don't drill anything today. Let's pretend I make nothing. Actually, let's pretend I make $1. So we're making $5,000, $5,001, right? I'm gonna click next. Everything's still the same. Next, everything's the same. See, this program appears to be a good fit. You see how the income changed it. So at one point I was making too much money. Now I'm making just right. I'm making about 60,000, and the adjusted annual income limit for that county is 64. Okay, So this is, again, kind of a cool tool to see how you would fare against the USDA, right? Now, I'm not saying this is exact science. This is like public math. Obviously, you need to talk to a loan officer. But again, it's kind of cool. If you're trying to do all this on your own, you're trying to figure out if you can qualify on your own, right? You don't want to talk to a loan officer because you don't want to be sold by someone like me, right? And you don't want your credit pulled, whatever. This is a good way to kind of test it out, see what happens. Maybe you have too many debts. Let's see, plug in your debts, right? And you can get some answers. Mostly in the general sense. So it's almost like an online quiz, right? And it's harmless. It didn't ask me for my email. It didn't ask me anything. It might have pixeled me somewhere, but I doubt that the USDA is going to send me any kind of content, right? So yeah, that's again kind of a cool way to sort of, you know what? And I'm streaming. I'm not even sharing the right screen. I have one person watching this stream. I'm sorry about this. So let me go ahead. Let me go ahead and put that website on the right screen so you at least see it, Mr. Streamer. Sorry about that, Mr. Streamer. But this is the website that you need to go to. And again, I've already referenced which video on YouTube you go to. Let me do that as well. So sorry, streamer, if you didn't get the full experience. And this happens all the time whenever I'm streaming. I'm dealing with too many different screens, so I can't remember. Home buyer, secret, how to buy a house for zero down. If you go home buyer secret, how to buy a house zero down, you should find me. Oh, there's my stream. That's hilarious. But my video's not popping up. Look at that. See, my video's not popping up. But the stream is popping up, which is funny. Okay, how to buy a house 0% down. That's the one I want you to look for. Because that popped me up last time. There it is. How to buy a home with no money down, 0%. Right? Or to make life easier, you just go to their.com. And it should actually make that the first video that you see. Right? See? So again, sorry, Mr. Streamer, if you saw this, you even see here like the last 10 minutes of my screen because I failed to share it, right? So yeah, that's how you can figure out, again, if you qualify or not, using the USDA website. All right, so I got a question here. Megan says, no wonder I was confused. Were you the one streaming, Megan? I'm sorry. Oh, none of you guys saw the screen. Holy crap, dude. Holy crap. Okay, you know what? I have 10 minutes. I wish someone said something. I have 10 minutes. I'm going to go through it real quickly again. Man, what a horrible screen. I'm going to do a lot of editing on this one. So, okay, here we go. You go to the USDA website. The link is in my YouTube video, right? You go to single family direct, right? Because you're going direct to the USDA. They're asking you some questions. You click purchase a single family home, and you click accept. What's the next? Oh, I'm clicking the screen. Whoops. We're going to Texas because that's where I'm at. And I'm going to buy in Denton County. Right. I have a wife. I have 3 kids. No one's 62. No one's disabled. Guessing on taxes. Again, I think I put last time 6,000. Insurance, I put 1,200. And homeowner association dues, I put 1,000. No. On the any funding sources, click next. I'm making so I make $1. My wife makes 5,000 because I'm on commission and own my own business. I have a car payment. I'm literally redoing how I built it. Right, 500, and I have credit card debts of 100. My wife has a $500 a month car as well. But she also has $200 in credit card debts because she buys a lot of crap on Amazon and she travels a lot. I don't. I travel for business. She travels for fun. Why watch the boys? It's a great life. Here we go. Oh crap. Oh yeah. I forgot to answer this question. I thought that was actually the finding. So there's no across the board on all these, right? next. This program appears to be a good fit. So Megan, hopefully I showed you what I was trying to demonstrate to you earlier where the screen was not shared correctly. So I'm really sorry, guys. That's stupid of me. But at least I caught it, and I'm showing you guys. And when I do this on YouTube, you're not even gonna notice that I messed up there. So yeah, let's see. Does anyone have any? Now, SC says, "Is this good use to determine if I qualify for any mortgage?" I think it's a good rule of thumb. Okay, and what I mean by that is the reason why is because the USDA is very strict. They're strict about like the debt to income ratio. They're strict about certain things. So let's say if you qualify for USDA, you probably would qualify for VA if you're a veteran. You probably qualify for FHA. Conventional, not sure, right? But the USDA is really strict on like income, like debt to income ratio, and things like that. Of course, they're not asking for credit score, so that is a totally different conversation. But if you want to see income wise, do you qualify? This is a good way. I believe so. I think if you want to talk to clients and you ask this question, you plug the client's information in, it actually will help you. So I'm not saying that this is the tool that everyone should use to qualify. No, you should talk to a lender, right? But if you're doing something you want to avoid talking to a lender, you don't want them to look at your social security number or anything like that. You're afraid to commit to anybody. You just want to know, right? This is the cool website. Just plug in the numbers and see what happens. And they calculate it for you, which is to me the best part. And that's, I mean, they didn't just say you qualify, you don't qualify. They say this is what we think you make. This is how much we think in terms of deductions because of your credit cards, whatever. Based on your situation, USDA is adjusting your income to be this much, and this is actually the income limit. Well, look at that. It's higher in Prosper. I must have clicked like a really rural county when it's 64,000. I thought I would actually qualify at 100,000, but actually 94 here. And it tells you, again, your monthly income, your monthly obligations. That's kind of cool, right? Tax and insurance, right? And maximum loan amount. My maximum loan amount it's telling me 18,000. That doesn't make any sense. That's wrong. That should be. This is another part that I really like. It tells you what the loan amount is, but I don't think that's correct, right? That's not. That should be higher. Okay. But yeah, I think it's a great way to sort of guess in a way if you qualify and what you might qualify for. Again, I think that number is wrong. I'm actually going to go back because I'm kind of frustrated that the little tool that I showed you, which I think is really cool, screwed up. It's not supposed to do that. Next year, no, that's not. That's definitely not right. It should be higher for sure. So let me go back. Maybe because I'm showing a little income. Maybe that's why they show me a little qualifying. Who knows? We'll see. See, it says me 0. That doesn't help. I'm gonna go ahead and change it to make it 94. So that would be 3,000. Yeah, maybe 50,000. Previous. As you can see, it's really easy to just go back and change the number and see what happens. 2,500, 7,200, 7,200 times 12. Anyone can beat me real quick. I don't know, maybe. That's about right. Okay, cool. That's what I was looking for. So I'm going to show that I'm making 90,000. And see, look, it tells you right there. See, that's probably the cool part, Essie, right there. I mean, I don't know how it calculates it, but this is what it's telling me I qualify for. 294,000. That's a really cool tool. If that's accurate, if that works right? I plug in my income, I plug in my debts, and it's telling me I can qualify for 294,000 going USDA, right? So to me, that's like the coolest takeaway or coolest feature about this particular website, right? So yeah, any questions? Megan, no problem. Thank you for being patient enough to allow me to go over it again. Sorry again for you guys. I was literally talking to myself for that 10 minutes or whatever. So. Excuse me. Just drinking my coffee. Any questions? Any ahas or takeaways or something you want to share? Essie says, thank you for this information. No problem. Any question that you have where it's not answered by my videos or whatever, feel free to reach out to me, of course. But again, my goal is to make it so that you don't need me. Like the idea, guys, so you understand, is I want to eventually get to the point where if I were to die, right, and I know it sounds morbid, but I want to get to the point where if I was to die, Larry the mortgage guy, your mortgage insider still is alive and existing. It's Larry the mortgage guy, the YouTube version is still helping people buy homes. That's the point, right? I want to get to the point where any question you ask, even if I'm dead, you can still get an answer from me beyond the grave, right? I don't know, some of you guys might be not old enough, but Gen Xers and older, you guys know Max Headroom, right? Max Headroom is a talking head, is like a digital virtual reality personality, and it's like a robot that talks, right? It's a screen. I want to be like the Max Headroom of mortgages, right? I want to get to the point where hopefully guidelines don't change that much, but 1,000 years from now, if someone says, "Hey, how do I qualify for USDA?" This video pops up, and it's me talking to that person, and I help them buy a USDA home loan, even though I've been dead for 1,000 years. So that's the goal. So, Essie, I really appreciate you saying thank you for this information, but that's really what I'm trying to do anyway. So, I want to thank you for showing that it is valuable or it can possibly be valuable. So, that's the goal. So, yeah, I hopefully answer any of y'all's questions that you may have, and hopefully give you something to play with, a little bit of value, a little bit of education, whatever you want to call it. Let's go ahead back and present, and then we'll share my screen, hopefully the right screen this time. So yeah, if you guys don't have any questions, I really appreciate it. You guys can always reach out to me. My name is Larry Lee at 832-606-2193. And you can email me, lee@vandykemortgage.com. That's L as in my first initial, Lee as my last name, Van Dyke, VANDYK, there's no E, at van@mortgage.com, LarryLee.com. You can go to the website I just showed you. You can Google Larry the Mortgage Guy, or Larry Lee, or Larry Lee Lender, or Larry Lee Dallas, or Larry Lee Lender Dallas. You'll probably find me, right? Paul says, always good stuff. Hoping to build some of this out to present to buyers. Yes, sir. That's kind of the goal, right? Let's help the consumers. Right? Let's help them buy as easy as possible, right? Because they're going to find a way to do it anyways, whether they do it through you or through the Rocket or through Zillow or through some crazy fool on social media or YouTube or the Larry Lee in Colorado or wherever you're at, right? You never know. So you might as well build one for yourself so that they buy from you instead of someone else. Because from our perspective, we should be the best. We should be the guy. We should be the one to be coaches, right? So I'm glad to hopefully help you with that journey, right? So yeah, again, I really appreciate you guys being here. If you have any questions, again, you can give me a call anytime. And I don't know what. Okay, yeah. But yeah, you can give me a call, take any time. And I just want to again thank you guys for being here. And I will see you guys later. This is Larry, the mortgage guy, your mortgage insider. I'm out. And I appreciate you Zoom guys being patient as I totally screw up that presentation.